All right. So, greetings, everyone. This is the second edition of our Rotary Interact lecture series, our conversations that we're having. And we're very fortunate to have Patton Dugas here from Truist Bank. And we'll talk to him about his exploits as a Braves baseball player as they celebrated the World Series win recently. So, we'll get into that as well. But Patton, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from and what some of your interests or hobbies are.
Well, I mean, before we do that, Alfred, could you possibly get me some Braves tickets to the World Series?
I got you. 2022, I got you. Lock it
Okay,
in.
good. Because I think you're the only person in the state of Georgia who's not called me and asked for tickets.
I bet. I bet.
So yeah, thanks a lot for letting me be on. Happy to be here and chat with you guys. So I grew up in Macon, spent a lot of time in Athens. Went to college there in Athens. Started a business while I was in college, and so I ended up living in Athens for about 6 years. And when that was done, decline from my wife. She'll get mad at me later. When that was done, I decided, what in the world am I going to do next? Having sold my business and thinking about, what's my next entrepreneurial venture? And I said, well, banking is a good direction for me to go learn a lot about a whole lot of different kinds of businesses. So that's what led me to commercial banking. And so been in banking for almost 20 years now, and proud to serve the Savannah community and Truist Bank as the market president here.
Awesome. So you said that you were kind of working as an entrepreneur. You sold those businesses. What were some of the businesses that you were involved in?
So let's see. You want to hear about the ones that failed or the ones that did good?
The interesting ones. Let's do it that way.
Okay, so Summer Olympics. Remember when the Olympics was in Atlanta? I had a really bright idea with my fellow dorm mates to start a bike messenger business because Athens was going to be so covered up they wouldn't be able to get things around town, and we'd have to have these cool bike messengers.
Right.
So we sent out a bunch of advertisements via fax machine. We got exactly one response, which was from a lawyer saying cease and desist. So that was not a very successful business. No, but in all seriousness, my brother and I started an audiovisual contracting business out of his garage, and we built sound systems, built them for churches, built them for schools, built them for courthouses. And it was a great business. It's still a great business today. He's still running that business. But that started out of a combination of me being in business school, him being technically adept in the equipment, and both of us loving music. And that was kind of one of the first lessons in do what you love. Mm-hmm. And it was a great experience.
Awesome. So how would you say that those experiences have helped you, in what you're doing right now?
Sure. So I started out as a student at the University of Georgia, trying to run the finances of this business. And I learned very quickly what it was like to write paychecks and to have people depend on you. And there were times when I wrote paychecks and I didn't cash mine because there wasn't enough to go around, right? And I won't ever forget that. In fact, that has really informed my relationships with entrepreneurs throughout my career. I've been where you are, and I've written those checks myself, and I've taken out that debt myself, and worried about paying it back. And so I really think that experience has helped me get on the same level with my clients and really empathize with them.
Awesome. So what would you say has been, the best part of your job?
So my job has really evolved from, in the beginning, I mostly was working on real estate transactions and small businesses. And as I've gone forward, I've worked on larger and more complex projects with larger and more complex organizations, just sort of accumulating through time. And at the same time, I've also learned a lot about sort of myself and my role in the world. We are both Rotarians, and I think about classification. My classification is banker, and I think about classification in terms of like what is the good that you can do in the world? How can you have a positive impact on things? I am never going to cure a disease or stop a war from happening, but if I can help small businesses grow into big businesses, then I grow jobs in Savannah, and that rising tide lifts all boats, and that makes Savannah a better place for my kids. So I really see banking as economic and community development. Um, and when I have an opportunity to help grow jobs or do things that create really important community assets, like there's a lot of discussion going on right now about things like affordable housing and jobs training, upskilling, and there's some really amazing nonprofits who are working on some really ambitious projects, and we're able to help advise them on how to get those things done. At the end of the day, the thing I really love about being a banker is advising clients, taking somebody who has a passion and a vision and helping them achieve that. Because, at the end of the day, the little green rectangles of paper that I have at my bank are exactly the same as the one across the street. The difference is, can I bring something to the table? Can I bring some advice? And can I help somebody get from here to there? A lot of our clients don't understand finance the way we do. A lot of them understand it even better than we do, but we have to meet people where they are and help them achieve their goals.
So has there been one project that you've gotten involved in that's kind of, kept you encouraged, or one thing that you really just hang your hat on, like, yeah, I did that, or has it been something like that you've gotten involved with?
I've been so fortunate to have that project always on my horizon. There's always a next project, right? I have many things that I've worked on that I feel proud of, whether it be nonprofit construction projects, in the educational space, or whether it's large real estate development projects that, early in my career, most of my clients were real estate developers. And there was something pretty satisfying about, standing back from a building that just got built and saying, I help make that happen. Today, it's more about how can I help businesses and entrepreneurs grow the value of their business. So we talk a lot about enterprise value, and we've got a lot of clients who, maybe their business is in an industry where it could trade for this value up to this value, and I help them think about, well, what's different about companies on this end of the spectrum from that, and what can we do to help you really add value to your business? Because eventually every business will transition, and by transition I mean it will either sell, it will either transition to a next generation or employees, or it will go out of business. And so we talk to clients a lot about, what's the future, what's your vision, and how do we achieve that best outcome for you? And that's really exciting.
Awesome. So what have been some of the challenges that you face? I'm pretty sure you may be familiar with this event that's been happening for the past 19, 20 months or so. I'm assuming that has been a challenge that you face, but what are some of the other challenges that you may face in this position?
So sure, this event has been rough, but I'm gonna speak more broadly. Banking has become a commoditized business. Like I said, the little pieces of paper are the exact same as across the street. So we really struggle as bankers to differentiate ourselves and to try to add something, add value and earn value, right? That's one thing. Another thing I would say, sort of as a warning to people who are thinking about getting into the banking business, if you don't like chasing paper, I used to joke, when I lived in Atlanta, people would talk about how many years of their life they spent on I-285 going in circles, waiting in traffic. It's years of my life I've spent chasing paper from clients. I need your updated financial statements, et cetera, et cetera. So that's sort of a frustrating part of the job. But ultimately, it's a very rewarding business because you really are able to help people leverage, folks who don't have the capital to go accomplish what they need, leverage a little bit of capital into a lot of capital to go grow something and really accomplish something.
Okay. So one of the things that I've been fortunate enough to get to know about you is that you're not just someone who, works at the company. You're actually very involved in the community, and you kind of get your hands dirty, if you would, to make this community better. And one of the things that we've been very fortunate to work with you on is the March of Dimes, and I know that's a thing that speaks to you. How did you get involved with that, and how is being able to have such a strong connection to the community allowed you to be successful in your role?
Well, so I got involved with the March of Dimes many years ago because I share a mission connection, right? My oldest daughter was born very premature, and we spent a lot of time in the NICU, and got to know those folks those heroic doctors and nurses who work so hard to save those children. It became very important to me to try and give something back. And so I had a wonderful opportunity, my wife and I both, to serve that organization, to work in fundraising roles, work in leadership roles, and get out and do fun stuff like charity walks and chefs events and things like that. So that's been really labor of love and connected to me. And the thing I'm most proud of in my life is my family, and so it's really important from that perspective. Now, in terms of the community and sort of my career, banking is local, and it matters if you are connected to the community. It matters if you are visible in the community. You got to understand we're not just here to make money and make loans that nature. We're here to really build a community. And so, I tell all my compatriots here at the bank, I kind of don't care what you do, but do something, get involved somewhere. And whether that's Rotary or March of Dimes or Chamber of Commerce events or leadership organizations, there's lots of ways that you can give back. And if you're not sort of balancing the scales with a little bit of that pro bono work, then you're really missing. Now, in terms of business development, I have never made money on charitable things that I've done. It's never ever really connected the dots directly to I got this deal because I worked on this board. But I think it does allow me to be a known quantity in this marketplace. And as the leader of this organization in Savannah, it's kind of important for people to have a sense of not just he's a smart banker, but he cares about the community we live in.
Yeah, and I must say that the Chefs and Chocolate event that we've been able to work with you on has been a pleasure of mine. Not just because we get to eat real good, but because we also get a chance to connect with so many people in this community and really come together for a common cause. So just kudos to you and your wife on you guys' leadership and being able to pull that together. To really support so many children, so many families within our community. If you could offer a piece of advice for our students, maybe there's a class they should take or a show they should watch or something that they should be doing for those who are interested in going into the world of banking and the world of finance, what would you say to those students?
So I know that you guys have a pathway within Woodville Tompkins that will help students get a few steps down the road on things like accounting and finance. Those are really, really important core skills. And frankly, those are the things that mystify a lot of our clients. The ability to go from an income statement to a balance sheet to a statement of cash flow and connect the dots between those three things is super important. You got to have that baseline. There are some great books out there that you can read, but you also have great resources there at Woodville Tompkins. I've been known to say that banking is not rocket science. It's arithmetic, and there's only a handful of ratios that we look at when we're trying to make credit decisions. Do you need to have an accounting degree to be a banker? Nope. In fact, when I was in school and decided to get serious about school after that freshman year in the bike messenger business, I said, what's the hardest thing I can do in business school without doing accounting because I didn't want to do that. But you don't necessarily need a finance degree or an accounting degree to be a banker. What you need is that baseline business knowledge, and then just an ability to get out there and meet people and understand marketing, and understand how to advise people. The other piece I would say is that it is a business that is not without risk. And so if you are not the type of person who knows how to follow rules and knows how to adhere to compliance requirements, you will struggle in the banking business. It's a very highly regulated business, and so you need to be able to dot your I's and cross your T's, and keep a complete file and things of that nature. So organizational skills are really, really important. Time management is really, really important. And so, ultimately, these are things that can be learned. And I would encourage anybody who's thinking about a career in finance to, seek out that mentor, seek out that person who's been there before, and try to spend some time and do the day in the life thing. There's a lot of value in that too.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Patton, those are all the questions that I had, and I really appreciate you taking time to come and share a little bit of your expertise and your advice with us. Congratulations on winning the World Series. I know that was something that you've been working really hard on, and congrats on that. And maybe next time we get together, I'll tell you about my business, the Trash Valet. Which is, you can tell just by the name of it how successful that business was. We can talk about that later too.
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much for the time.
No problem. Thank you. You have a great day.
You too.
All right.